Hey Aries, welcome to this timeless message. I'm picking up that you are being very decisive, you are building, creating, and you are on the ball. You're locked onto something, like hyper-focused, hyper-targeted, right? You have a very specific goal, and you're making great progress on it. Very swift progress. Even if you are taking your time and moving slowly, you're still, it's like every day, in and out, right? You're dedicated to this thing and it is moving forward a lot faster probably than you thought it would. But there's definitely an energy here of designing, building, combining disparate elements, experimentation even. It's like you have a plan, you know what you want to build, but along the way you're kind of like testing out different things to see, well, what would happen if I added this in there, right? Whether this be like you're constructing a new recipe or you're actually designing a building or designing an application even or things of this nature, right? Um, yeah, it's a very entrepreneurial spirit, which for Aries is it makes a lot of sense, right? Because Aries is the initiator sign. It's the beginning, the very first sign in the entire wheel of the zodiac, right? And we do have some big events happening at the very 0th degree of Aries, Saturn and Neptune conjunct, according to Western tropical astrology. So that is a very big symbolic event, and it's the materialization of dreams, of ideas, of the unseen, the imagined, right? There's a big emphasis on the idea of an annular eclipse, which, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially when the moon is in front of the sun, just like a normal eclipse, right? But the moon is pretty far away from the Earth, so it's tinier than normal to us, appearing tinier than normal. And so it leaves a ring of fire around the outside of the moon. There is one of these annular eclipses coming up at the time that I'm recording this video. It is February 10th, 2026, as I'm recording this. And the annular eclipse I'm talking about is happening on February 17th, which also just so happens to be the very first day of the Chinese New Year, which is the year of the fire horse, right? And we have this annular eclipse, which is all about a ring of fire. So the symbolism here is just hitting hard. And of course, Aries is a fire sign. So there's a lot here about combination, initiation, even being in the middle, which is not necessarily related to initiation, but maybe in some way it is, right? Passing through the middle of something, as in like an archway, initiating yourself into a new realm, right? It's very interesting energy. I feel also that this may be a result of a pickle you may have gotten yourself into, a situation that maybe you didn't really think it through all the way, and now you're kind of like, I really could have avoided this if I had just not been so impulsive, right? And once again, that's very Aries to be impulsive. So you're learning, right? We all are. But yeah, I'm getting that this dedication really is a result of maybe has a lot to do with a situation that you're trying to get yourself out of. And yeah, you see this as a way out. As this is a way out for you to get out of this pickle that you're in. It's something new. It's a brand new little baby, right? And it holds a lot of value, and you have to nurture it and be dedicated to it. You may be announcing this in some way. Maybe it's gotten to a point where you can actually like show it off to people now. People may be curious about how you got this started. They're looking at the foundations of this thing, right? You could be getting a bit of a boost, right? Like a bootstrap, right? Or it could be giving you the boot. And by that, I mean, it's like, I'm seeing it both ways. Like somebody, when you hear giving the boot, that usually means getting kicked out. But it's like you're getting kicked out into a better space, a more like conducive environment to what you're trying to accomplish, right? And I'm also seeing someone literally being given a boot. Like here, you need this. Like, this boot is going to help you. It's going to allow you to travel farther, right? Maybe you have one boot, but you're missing the other, and somebody comes with the exact match, right? And they're like, here, this is the boot you were missing. There's hope, right, for the health of this thing. There is hope in that it can actually be useful to others. There's a lot of steam, especially in you connecting with other people around this. There is value here. Copper's coming through, and I know that apparently a lot of people are interested in investing in copper right now. So it's a very valuable material, right? There's something about this being put on a shelf, as in like a store, right? It's like being offered to people. It is at a point where it can be accessed in some way by others, and it'd be useful, and it'd be something that can teach them things, right? This is protected publicly. There is this idea of like protecting your neck, keeping your neck warm, right? A scarf specifically coming through. And these words are going to come back around later in this reading, you'll see. But yeah, there's an idea of a harbor, a place where you can go where there's lots of resources, lots of movement, lots of people who have the ability to assist you in making this thing possible, right? In bettering it. And then finally, there's a little bit of fear in diving into the depths, but there's also this idea that the fear is telling you that there is something here, that there's something big here. It's like, it's valuable. It's meat, right? This fear is meat. It's showing you that there is meat to this thing, and that this thing can produce maybe even eggs, right? A chicken is coming through. The symbol of the chicken. A multifaceted symbol, right? Yeah, okay. So, my name is Shane. This is the Cup Night channel. Welcome to this timeless reading for Aries. Whenever this found you is when it was meant to find you. You found it. It found you. If it's not working, that's fine. Just leave it. You can always come back later if you feel so inclined. If you need anything from me, links are in the description or the pinned comment. I'm going to start with my meditation impressions, which is all the things I have listed here on the side, and then I will get into the tarot via an application that I actually built myself. It's a tarot application, and I do plan on putting it out there for others at some point. It is in the development stage right now, but I have gotten it to a point where I can actually use it and show others how it, what I have going on, right? And it is a truly random algorithm that selects the cards, right? So yeah, I'm excited to test it out for this reading for you, Aries. And what better sign to like bring this out onto the floor than Aries, the sign of initiation, right? So this is my tarot application's initiation into the to the world of the internet. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. First thing that came through was architecture. Yeah, building, planning, designing, right? It's this very entrepreneurial spirit, like I said. And I was seeing a compass right after that. And its compasses they measure angles, right? You can also think of like a directional compass, right? But I was specifically seeing the compass where you like use it to measure specific angles. Yeah, so there's something about being very precise, getting the degrees right, getting the angles right. Also, this idea of like a grand design, right? Especially with this annular eclipse energy coming through as well. It's like things lining up is what I'm getting. You're making sure that things are lining up. Things are at the right angle so that they join correctly, so that they're stable, sturdy, that they will last, right? I got a bunch of mishmash words for you on this one, 4. I usually get about 2 or 3, but you got 4 this time, so I'll go through all those. The first one was flindection, and this one, I'm gonna breeze through these kind of quick. So it gave me 3 possible definitions for this word. It is a made-up word. I just hear these words, and I'm like, okay, we'll try to make sense of them, right? So, 1, A hypothetical process or concept arising from the blending or fusion of diverse linguistic, cultural, or disciplinary elements into a novel composite idea or artifact. So me hearing these words is flindection. This word is describing the process that I'm experiencing, which was very interesting. 2, the act or result of integrating disparate components, languages, technologies, aesthetics to produce a cohesive new system or expression. So once again, this idea of designing and creating, trying new things, combining things to create new things, right? 3, a coined term used to describe cross-disciplinary creativity, hybridization, or multilateral collaboration that yields emergent properties not present in the individual parts. And that one's my favorite of the 3. So yeah, it's like you're taking pieces of different things that you're familiar with and you're combining them together, and the outcome is surprising and new and novel. It's not something you would have ever expected. You're breaking things down to like their fundamental elements and then combining them, and the result is giving you something completely new, right? Completely novel. And it's all coming from you interacting with these fundamental particles, these fundamental elements, and being creative with them and being daring enough to try this out and see what will happen, right? It's very alchemical, yeah. Extremely alchemical. Life is alchemical, I believe. And it's just alchemy is a description of the process of life, of becoming, is what I have come to settle on at this point in my life. But yeah, I'm sure there's more to it than that. Different lenses of perceiving it, right? But it's the same thing. It's a process of breaking things down into their smallest components and then recombining them to create something new. The next word was arpitry. I like the way this one sounds. It's really fun. It's short. So it says it's a noun, and this one only gave one definition. It says a concept or practice that combines artistry, craftsmanship, or experimental repetition, the process of attempting new artistic techniques or materials in a studio setting. So yeah, once again, it's like alchemy. It's like you're in a lab and you're just trying things out, seeing what works. And the things that work, you're keeping and using them to build something. It does give some example usages. So 1, the artist approached the sculpture as a process of arpitry, layering glazes and textures in iterative trials. And 2, their workshop emphasized arpitry, try new tools, test new materials, refine the form. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, all of the energy coming through here is that of like building, designing, testing, experimenting, and it's very fun energy. It really is. The next one, Super Sand or Supporzend. I wasn't really sure. I heard it as like Supporzend. That's why I used an O instead of Super. But yeah, so this one gave 3 definitions. 1, a conceptual material or aesthetic that blends premium superlative qualities with a granular sand-like texture used in design, architecture, or fashion to evoke a balance between refinement and earthy texture. So once again, design, architecture, building, right? It just kept coming up. 2, a culinary or dining concept that combines the ideas of a hearty supper with sandy grain-like components, suggesting rustic richness or coastal fare. And 3, metaphorically, a process or product that layers forward momentum with time-bound granularity, akin to time's gradual accumulation. Yeah. So this one, I think the third one is my favorite again. Speaking metaphorically, it's a process. It's forward movement that is acknowledging the constraint of time that we have to contend with in this reality, right? Things don't just happen. They happen slowly over time. And I think you have realized that you've come to terms with it, and now you know how to work with it and be okay with how long things take. Things take time, and you've learned to be more comfortable with that process, is what I'm feeling here. I heard intermediate arch, and intermediate basically just means the middle of, right? And an arch is like a gateway. It's like it's going from one side to the other, right? The arch is the separation. It is the intermediary between what was on the other side and what's on the other side of that, like one side and the other side, right? So it's a threshold. It's an initiation into a new area, right? Where maybe the rules are different. Maybe things are going to change for you in a big way. It's like you're walking through the middle of this arch, and the middle is the balance point, right? So you're balanced as you walk through this, and it's leading you to a place where things are not the same as they were before. The rules are going to change. Resources will be different. Maybe even the people will be different. Maybe even the physical location will be different. You know, you might move somewhere. And then the annular eclipse I saw right after that. And yeah, like I said, this is just, it's kind of the same thing of something being in the middle, the moon being in the middle to where it's leaving a ring of fire around the outside of the moon. Now, unfortunately, this annular eclipse we have coming up, if you watch this before February 17th, 2026, you can really only see it in its full glory if you're in Antarctica. The path, what do they call it? I think it's like the annular path. I think that's actually what it's called. Hold on, I have it pulled up here. Let's see. Yeah, the annularity, the period of maximum eclipse, an event known as annularity, is set to begin at 7:12 a.m. Eastern Time or 12:12 GMT and will last 1 minute and 52 seconds, after which the moon's silhouette will slide inexorably off the solar disk. Yeah. So most of the world is not going to be able to see the full glory of the Ring of Fire, but it is happening. And it's happening in Antarctica, which is interesting because that is, you know, the southernmost area of the Earth. So there's something here about fire. Once again, the South in a lot of traditions is associated with the element of fire. And there's something here about foundations. The South, right? The bottom of something, the bottom of the globe. Yeah, an initiation into the foundations. Support, right? Foundations are support. There's an initiation here into support. So if you feel like you've been lacking, like maybe you've been doing this thing all on your own and or you haven't really had a lot of resources, you just kind of had to use what you had, right? And that did lead to some interesting outcomes, which is great. But now it's like there's this idea of moving into this new area, this new place, this new sacred space of where there will be like foundational support. I saw a like a bird of prey, maybe like a hawk. It was kind of a brown bird with like black tipped wings, and it was swooping down with its talons, you know, like ready to strike, right? So I wrote swooping down because that's what it was doing, and it was targeted on something. It was very focused, right? It's like it had its eye on the prize, on the thing that it wanted, and it was going for it. It was in progress, going for it. And then finally, effectuation was the last word that I heard. And this one kind of speaks for itself, though I did still generate a definition for this one too. So we got 2 definitions for this one. It says, the act or process of fetching or retrieving items, data, or information. And 2, the procedural stage in a workflow where retrieval is performed prior to processing, right? So to me, this is that act of the hawk like swooping down, right? It was in effectuation, essentially. It did not give an example sentence for this one, but yeah, we could make one up, right? The hawk was in the process of effectuation, or the hawk is in a state of effectuation, right? It hasn't grabbed it yet, but it's like going to. And you know, birds are fast. They're very quick, right? They swoop down and get what they want. They either get it, right, or they don't, and they miss, and then they kind of have to go back around and maybe try again if they can. So this is kind of a to be determined kind of situation I'm feeling. Maybe you are locked onto something and you're targeting it, but whether you get it or not is yet to be determined. And I think it depends on your ability to maintain the focus, to maintain the direction, the momentum, right? The fire that you've had going for this thing. Okay, so yeah, that is the meditation impressions. Let's get into the tarot here. I do want to mention just on the bottom for the archetypes before I switch over to the tarot screen, we had the sword, right? This is that decisive energy I was talking about. This is the hawk swooping down. Then we have Gnosis, and I can't help but notice that bird swooping down there, the way that it came out, right? It's on the down swoop here. and the kiss. This is literally depicting an eclipse here. So the annular eclipse seems to be a very important energy here. And even if you didn't find this before it happens, maybe just look back to that day, February 17th, 2026, around that time period and see what was going on for you. Because there could be some important themes that are either coming back around or playing out in a different way for you at this time. And just the energy of an eclipse in general, right? It is like a kiss. It's like a kiss between the moon and the sun from our perspective. Two things coming together. It's very intimate, right? And in this case, with the idea of an annular eclipse, the moon doesn't completely block out the sun. It actually highlights it. It highlights the ring of fire. So there's this idea of like, once again, support of like something being emphasized instead of being hidden. It's actually being like, it's two things combining to create something novel, right? A ring of fire. It's a really cool thing that we don't get to see all that often. It's kind of a rare thing. Okay. So let me switch my screen here. Get everything set up. Here's the tarot screen. Yeah, so these are the words I was talking about. These are the words that came through, and they're each associated with a house of the zodiac. So the first house, second house, third, etc., all the way to the 12th house. And I'm going to draw one card for each for you. So we're going to start with the first house, and I'm going to do these by column. So I'll do first, seventh, second, eighth, etc. So let's see here. I'm just going to do, I have a draw card here function, and it just picks a random card. Yeah. So, okay. And actually, I can set this to be attached to the card so that it moves around with it. So yeah, we have pickle. And it's interesting here because we have the 9 of Cups with pickle. So the first house is all about your self-expression, your identity, right? Who you are. And the 9 of Cups is a solo energy. 9s represent solo energy, like the Hermit, right? In the Major Arcana. So I see you being very self-satisfied, even though you may be in kind of a pickle, right? You may be in a situation where you might feel good about yourself because of how well you handled being in this situation, right? Even though you may have put yourself here, right, because of a lack of planning or foresight, right? That happens sometimes. It's okay. You can still learn from it. And I think you realize that. And now you feel really good about it. You're like, you know what? Even though I could have avoided all of this if I had just been a little more thorough, right? It's okay because I learned a lot and now I have a lot to show for it, right? So I see you being very like satisfied with yourself. All right, let's see what we get for the second house of values, right? This could be financial, material, ethical, and moral values. Anything that you consider to be valuable. So let's get a card here. Ooh, okay, the 6 of Cups. So lots of emotional energy here. And we have baby, yeah. So, and look, you can see, I'll zoom in here. There is an older, still childlike figure handing this beautiful plant in this cup where there's water, right? Cups represent water. So this nurtured earth element here to this child. It's like somebody handing resources down to somebody who's kind of just like started a new journey, right? They're kind of a baby in this field, in this journey in some way. So there's connection here. There is an emphasis on community, connection, support, like I was saying, right? Especially emotionally, which is really good. All right, let's look at the third house, which is, it's like close connections, right? This could be brothers, sisters, cousins, right? People really, it could also be just close friends that you've known for a long time. And it's also about learning and making connections. We have horn, and this is kind of, oh, okay. 3 of Swords. Interesting. The most emotional sword card, right? Yeah, so with Horn, I was getting this kind of like announcement energy, right? It's like when horns are loud, you can hear them when they sound off, right? That's why they're used like on military bases to kind of start the day a lot of times, right? I believe for the Navy, at least, they call it colors. And there's like a horn that announces the beginning of the day, and you're supposed to stand at attention and face the flag while they play the anthem, right? So yeah, there's something here about like an announcement, initiation again with this idea that I was just talking about of like starting the day. And there's something about acknowledging the pain, right? The mental anguish that has maybe even put you in vulnerable emotional states from time to time. There's an acknowledgement here that when you're able to like connect like back to how far you've come, how much you've learned, right? All the connections you've made, especially like mental connections, right? In order to get you to the point where you are. It's this coming together of mind and heart, like the swords entering the heart, right? It's this idea of like a kiss, two things coming together here. So yeah, there's an element of sadness here, but I don't see it as like a bad thing. Not here. This is more of a, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger kind of attitude I'm feeling here, which is very beautiful. And also we have 3-3, right? Third house, 3 of swords. So that is like mastery. 33, that's, I believe, creative mastery. It's like the culmination of creativity in a way. All right, so for the 4th house, this is the house of foundations, ancestry. We have watch. Oh, and look, 4-4. Wow, okay. All right, so let me tag those together there. Okay, so yeah, 4 watch. I mean, this is the foundational card of the Pentacles, right? It's about stability and kind of like, it's not really a card of action. It's more about like holding back, right? So what I'm getting here is somebody who maybe has like stability, access to resources, has been paying attention to the way you've been building yourself up, your foundations, right? The way you've been fortifying your own foundations. This could be somebody who's related to you because the 4th house is about like ancestry and family, right? But it doesn't have to be. Maybe in another life, if you believe in such things like reincarnation, right? Maybe you were family in another life somehow, or yeah, in a mystical sense. All right, and then 5, the 5th house is about passion, creativity, right? And this is where boot came from that I was talking about earlier. So let's get a card. Ooh, the Empress. There's the creativity, right? Yeah. And she is often said to be pregnant, right? That's why she's relaxing, taking it easy, and she's fully like abundant. Venus making an appearance here, very loving energy, right? Desire, passion. She's incubating something. Like I said, she is literally building something while she's sitting there doing, you know, enjoying herself. Not only is she creating something internally, right? That will be displayed eventually to the world, but she is having a good time also and taking care of herself and realizing that her environment does influence the process of what's going on with her internally. So she has to put herself in places where the environment is conducive to the creation of this thing, right? Yeah, very cool. So yeah, and like I said, now I'm seeing like getting the boot as meaning like the birth of this thing. It's like it's being evicted from its motherly holding pattern, right? It's like you've been nurturing this thing and now it's like it's grown enough to where you can actually put it out into the world now and have other people help you raise it and take care of it and refine it, right? Yeah, it's very cool. For the 6th house, we have hope. 6th house is about health and service to others. And King of Pentacles, okay. Wow, lots of pentacles, lots of earth energy here with the Empress, 4 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. This is a good balance. We've got air, water, earth. So yeah, let's put this here. We have hope. And once again, there's this figure, this wealthy figure, right? Somebody who has like they're stable, they're solid. I'm seeing you as this way as well, because you do need to have hope and the ability to provide service to others and to be healthy, right? King of Pentacles, I mean, he is a very healthy king. He has it all, right? You can see Taurus there, harkening back to the Empress energy over here on his throne. So these two, I mean, this is a very powerful duo right here. But yeah, I mean, hope from the King of Pentacles. maybe people see you this way. They see you as very healthy, sturdy, stable, and solid, and you give hope to people. But I'm also seeing this as another figure who may be entering the picture for you. Somebody who perhaps is related to this king here, right? Somebody who's been watching. Interesting. All right. I knew I said I was going to do these 1-7, and it turns out I'm just going, I'm going across the board, so I guess too late, but yeah, it's okay. All right, let's see. Steam and the Hermit. Wow, okay. So the Hermit, right? It's funny that he is the 9th major arcana, and he's right below the 9 of Cups. So once again, there's this idea of you kind of doing things very solitary, maybe for quite some time, but now it seems there's going to be some steam related to connections, because the 7th house is all about like partnerships with others, right? Or with things outside of self. It's the opposite of the 1st house. So the 1st house is more like internal things, right? The 9 of Cups is kind of a perfect card for the 1st house. 7th house is more about external connections, relationships, partnerships, right? And this is you looking for those, right? See, look at him. He's holding this lantern here, and he's lighting the way, possibly looking for these connections. I'm going to say your drive to find connections is picking up steam. We have the 8th house with copper. The 8th house is about shared resources, right? And copper is a shared resource of the entire planet. The Empress again. Wow, okay. Interesting. Yeah, so there's something cooking here, right? Like I said, she is creating a baby here. She is creativity, the feminine creative principle personified, right? So the divine feminine. So there's something valuable and fundamental here, right? Because we have double earth with copper coming through, and then the Empress is also earth energy. And the 8th house is related to Scorpio, which is all about transformation. There's a transformation in shared resources. Maybe something that was being held back, potentially valuable, right? That could be useful to your process, is you're attracting it. And actually, I do believe copper is associated with the planet Venus. So it's interesting that, yeah, Venus is showing up here with copper as well. This one's tricky, and it makes a lot of sense because the 8th house is a house of like secrets and mystery as well. Transformation, secrets, mysteries. Scorpio, right? It's a very mysterious sign. So yeah, there is something mysterious here about your creative process and the way that it seems to be related to fundamental elements that are shared between people, right? Because copper, it is of the earth. It belongs to the earth, right? To everyone and everything that lives on the earth. Interesting. All right. And I'm talking about that from a very metaphysical point of view. Obviously, people, acquire resources and control them and use them to profit and such in our current society, right? The way the world currently works, right? But that's not what I'm getting at here. Although there may be something about that as well, because the 8th house is about, like I said, shared resources. So there could be maybe some laws changing in regards to copper and the way that it is used to create things, right? The industries that copper is utilized in. I'm not sure if there's a shortage going on. That could be why its value is, or why it's being coveted right now, right? I'm not sure, but yeah. All right, so 9th house, we have shelf. So this is where that energy of the store I was talking about, it's like you're putting something out on a shelf so that people can actually like acquire it or use it, right? And the 9th house is about foreign travels, pilgrimages, right? Spiritual travels even, but also higher learning and even like teaching, perhaps. So let's see. Page of Pentacles, yeah, okay. So what this is telling me is somebody's finding something new on the shelf, something foreign, something novel, right? That they've never seen before. They're like, whoa, look at this thing. The page is the energy of newness, right? Often seen as like children or even representing babies, perhaps, but they're the newest of the new, right? Of the court cards. But yeah, in this particular page, look at him. He's studying this pinnacle, like, wow, look at this thing. What is it? I've never seen such a thing before. How cool. Yeah. For the 10th house, this is the public house, right? This is your public image, potentially even your career scarf. This is that protect your neck, I was saying, right? Keeping your neck warm. Let's see what we get here. Oh, Knight of Wands. There's some warmth, right? Yeah, this is passion. This is a passionate figure, right? He is not wearing a scarf, but his neck is protected, right? He's got this helmet on protecting his neck, and he does represent fire, being the Knight of Wands. So there's something here about warmth when it comes to your public image, and also you being seen as like this passionate defender, right? This protector of creative energy, perhaps, right? Fire. Yeah, okay. Let's get the 11th house. Harbor. Oh, interesting. And we get the boat card for Harbor. How cool is that? All right, let's put this above. So yeah, Harbor. It's like like I said, you're being taken to this place. The 11th house is all about larger communities. It can also be about the future, things of that nature. It's Aquarian energy. But it seems like, yeah, there's like a safe harbor for you, right? Because they're going from these troubled waters to these calmer waters. They're being guided, these people particularly. And this is a lot to do with your perception, right? Your mind state, your mental state, the way you're seeing things. But being in the 11th house and Harbor, it's like there's a community, there's like a safe community for you to connect with. And you're going to connect on like an ideological level. Seems like it's going to be a smooth connection too. And then finally, for the 12th house, we have chicken. This is where the idea of fear came through. Oh, look at that. We start with the 9 of Cups and end with the 9 of Pentacles. Wow, yeah. So this has been a very solo adventure for you, that's for sure. But yeah, so 9 of Pentacles is this idea of being like self-made. Like you have made something very valuable for yourself, and you can now like show it off and potentially use it to attract wealth to you. Confirmation birth there. Yeah, and look, this is not a chicken, right? This is more of probably like a hawk, I would assume, and I was seeing a hawk, but it's a very tiny bird, so I don't really know. But it has one of those helmets on like those trained hawks have, so maybe it's like a baby hawk. But a fowl, right? A chicken. It's a bird. There's a relation there, is what I'm trying to say. But there's something here about you training your fears, you going deep on the source of your fears, right? And I'm thinking of chicken used in the sense of like somebody calling you a chicken. It's like that machismo way of using the word chicken, like, oh, you chicken, you won't do it, chicken, right? It's like that, and maybe nobody explicitly said that to you, but you may have been like picking up on that energy of like people may have thought you kind of were a chicken in some way, and it seems like you're proving them wrong, right? Now you're showing up as this 9 of Pentacles, very self-fulfilled, self-made. You're like, yeah, well, guess what? I created my entire reality. Who's the chicken now? I took that chicken and I gave it a home, and it laid eggs for me, and I used those eggs to make delicious omelets, or I sold those eggs to my neighbors and made profit, right? It's like that kind of thing. You flip the script is how it's coming through to me. But yeah, these are great. Double Empress here for the 5th and the 8th house. Creativity, secrets, shared resources. Maybe you've been keeping this process. This just hit me. For the 8th house, you've been refining this thing in secret. Like you haven't really been putting it out there until it seems like now, right? It seems like you're getting ready to kind of ship this thing out, right? With the Harbor. You're taking it to market, putting it on the shelf, looking for connections, right? For partnerships. You're picking up steam in the area of connecting with the broader community. You can see these first 6 houses as more of like interpersonal dynamics here. Like it's all not interpersonal, sorry, that's the wrong word, but like intrinsic internal processes, what I meant to say. Right? Because this is the like the bottom half of the zodiac. It's kind of like the underground, right? Everything inside. And then the 7th through the 12th house is more of like the above ground, right? Where everything is shared, everything can be seen. So yeah, there's a lot here about picking up steam in the 7th through the 12th houses. It literally starts with steam. And then it goes from steam to copper. So you're getting the resources, and then you're putting it on the shelf. You're protecting it, right? Keeping it warm, being its champion with the Knight of Wands, taking it to market, right? To the harbor. Maybe this is something that can cross borders, right? It's a product or a service that goes beyond national borders. And then finally, chicken, right? It's like you flip the script. You did it. This is the culmination house. It's the very last house, right? 12th, Pisces energy. It's the end. And look at what's at the end. The 9 of Pentacles. You being like very self-fulfilled and having material things to show for it. Having proof. Things that people can actually see, not just internal things, right? Although those are great too. Like cups, right? This is the emotions that you're feeling. Very proud of yourself. But the 9 of Pentacles is like, you've externalized that energy now. Other people can see it. There's evidence, there's proof of the work that you've done. Yeah, this is very amazing energy for you, Aries. I'm so glad to be tapping into this for you. So yeah, and yeah, I'm actually glad because this message goes well with. I wanted this to be the first time that I show off this app, and the energy is basically just. I think it's kind of talking about the work I've put into this thing, which is very cool. So maybe I am acting as a mirror for what's going on for you right now at this time as well, right? Maybe you are also building something that you can finally like show to people and be like, look what I did, right? So yeah, this is my little tarot app. I've got it's got a long way to go, but it's really cool. It's basically just a giant canvas. You can zoom way out and you can like spawn a bunch of cards. The cards will always spawn where your viewport is, right within the viewport. You can spawn a bunch of cards all at once. So I set a limit from 1 to 10, right? So we can do 10 cards, right? And then you can move them around. You can group them together, move them all together, right? You can delete them. You can rotate them. So I can put that one upside down if I wanted to. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to make it to where they will, if you want reversals, you can have it to where it'll randomly pick if the card is reversed or not when it first comes out. But right now they all just come out in the upright. I have a settings where you can censor the cards. So all the cards that contain nudity, if you want to share them on videos like this, I have censored versions of the cards, so you can turn this on and they'll come up with little sensors. I don't know. Let's see. Did I get any of the cards that have nudity? So I can show you. Here, let me just do this. Let's see, nudity. Oh, there's one. Yeah, so there's the sun, the little child, right? And I know, like, probably a little overkill on the censoring, right? But just to be safe, I censored any nipples or genitalia that might appear on a card. So yeah. Oh, and there's the devil too. Yeah. So. And there's not really any nipples on the male here, so they're just lines. So I just kind of left it like that. But yeah. I guess there are nipples on the devil, but it's fine. It's a mythological creature. So yeah, this is kind of where I'm at. I also have it to where you can shuffle the deck. You can draw from a specific index. So if you want to get like we'll say the 33rd card, right? You want to use some numerology to draw a card, you can do that. And boom, the 33rd card after I shuffle the deck is the 9 of Swords. So I'll shuffle it again, do this again, do the 33 again, and now it's the Queen of Swords. So yeah, got some zoom buttons here as well. And then finally, you can clean everything up and say yes, and then boom, everything's gone. Back to normal. Or back to nothing, I should say. So yeah, little shameless self-promotion there. I'm going to close out your reading with a Archanimal Tarot and Oracle card from Bernadette King. I love these cards. Excited to see what comes out. I'm hearing to use the strictly Oracle cards, so they have no tarot associations. So we're going to see what comes through here. Give these a little bit of a shuffle. Here's the back. I don't think I've ever showed the backs of these cards, but it's very beautiful. Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, so Spirit for Aries. What animal guide do we have today? Thank you. At this time, for this timeless reading for Aries. Okay. Alright, so yeah, we have the pigeon. Channeling home gentleness. Oh, look how cute. Alright, cool. So let me find the entry for the pigeon. $213 or $354. Okay. Here it is. Alright, so the pigeon. In reading about bird symbolism, often writers group pigeon and dove meaning together. In truth, they are the same bird. The only difference is colloquial, being designated by size depending on where they live. Pigeons are notably the larger of the two. Dove's white coloration gives them energetic connections with purity, peacefulness, and compassion and humility. Shamans feel that pigeons were messengers between the gods and humans and that spirits could travel within them. Ancestors could, for example, come as a pigeon relaying thoughts to a loved one. Lore says even guardian angels use these birds as an extra pair of eyes, watching over those in emotional, physical, or spiritual distress. For eons, pigeons delivered information between human individuals with astounding precision, making them emblems for communication, spiritual help, and staying connected with the source. Egyptians saw a pigeon as a hopeful creature denoting fertility and happy marriages, which may be why sometimes people still release a pair at weddings, winging lovely fortunes to the couple. Superstition tells us pigeons nesting in your roof shows divine protection, and oddly, a pigeon soiling your shirt portends a financial windfall and a trip to the laundromat. In the language of dreams, pigeon can have various meanings, one being the arrival of good news or a little serendipity. Seeing a pigeon flying away from you suggests you get in contact with those you love or who are traveling or living far from home. Doves flying over a group of people encourage restoring harmonious interactions and household security. Mystically, the cooing of pigeons represents sadness within that is hard to express. Their medicine refocuses you on inner truths, awareness, and balanced expectations about yourself and your situation. Pigeons suggest that safety, prudence, forethought, and caution are the best options right now. When pigeon wings in as your spirit animal, it's time to watch for your guardian angels. Yeah. Like I said, to me, this is just another message of communication that you do have this protection and this support coming in for you. There's a lot of mention here of windfalls and happy marriages, which are partnerships, right? It doesn't have to be romantic, but just coming together with people who have goodwill towards you, who want to protect you, help guide you, that kind of energy here. But it does close out with saying, pigeon suggests that safety, prudence, forethought, and caution are the best options right now. So yeah, keep that in mind as you continue on your journey with this thing that you're working on, that you're building, right? Make wise decisions, right? Gnosis and the sword. Use discernment. And watch out for your guardian angels, whatever that means to you, whether those come through as animals, symbols, signs, synchronicities, or all of it, right? People. All right, Aries, that is your message. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you found something interesting, useful, resonant in this reading. Like, comment if you feel so inclined. If you need anything from me, check the description for the links. or the pinned comment. But as always, take care of yourselves. Keep your heart open. Bye.